BookTube, and welcome back to the Wild Digest. I am your host, Scott, and I am coming to you from very, very sunny Southern California. They're expecting a freaking heat wave in the next couple of days. It's the end of October, people. What the hell? Anyway, I promised I was going to be back, and I was going to be doing a couple more videos, maybe one or two before the end of the month, to try to get in some of my last October reads. I've got a few things still sort of in the process, so I wanted to make sure I had them all here on BookTube for you to enjoy. I'm probably going to do a more thorough video on this because I had teased it at the beginning of the month, but I finally finished The Haunted Strangler, and this is the novelization of the movie with Boris Karloff. You can see him on the back there. Yeah, that came in pretty nice. The movie's great. The novelization is pretty good. It sticks to things fairly close, but it was 1958, so we're kind of creeping into the 60s, and the author, who I believe is also the screenwriter, John C. Cooper, took some fun little liberties, and he does try to squeeze in some more nudity and things like that that weren't in the original film. Those things are certainly implied in the original film, but Cooper goes pretty crazy in certain scenes. Some explicit stuff. I'm explicit. I'm going to throw air quotes around the use of that term, but it's a little bit more spicy, a little spicier than the actual film. So I'm not really going to give this one a rating because it's a perfectly serviceable novelization. If you're a big fan of the movie, then reading the book will be fun, but it really won't add anything to your overall experience. So The Haunted Strangler is no more. It is done for the month. I'll set that one to the side. I've been teasing all month long that I've been wanting to get into Surrogate Child by Andrew Niederman. Hello, there we go. I always say hello. I don't know why. Anyway, I'm trying to get this into focus. This is, again, a novel written by the author of Pin, which has been discussed elsewhere on YouTube. I would still love to read this, and I'm probably going to be starting it today if I can. And we'll see how far we get before the end of the month, but I have a feeling this one's going to kind of potentially creep into November, but we shall see. And so that's Surrogate Child by Andrew Niederman. A horror novel. All right, now the main reason I wanted to do this video was to catch up on some stuff that I've picked up over the last few weeks. There's 3 different bookstores, a couple orders reflected here. Even though when I say that, it sounds like I'm going to be showing boxes of books. I'm not. There's a fairly small selection here, but I did want to show them off because there's some interesting stuff in here and some fun little stories related to them. So I'll go fairly quickly. Let's see what we have here. So I had mentioned before in a couple of videos, and I reviewed one of the books, the Teddy London books by Robert Morgan. I've talked about those. Robert Morgan, also known as C.J. Henderson, and I found out that there was a collection of his occult novels. The Occult Detectives of C.J. Henderson, occult novels, occult short stories. So these are occult detective short stories that the same author, Robert Morgan, wrote. And this book actually includes a short story that was then reworked into the very first Teddy London novel, The Things That Are Not There. So apparently it's quite different, and things don't end in the same way as the novel. But it'll be interesting to read this. This will probably be one of those ones where I will just, when I have a gap in my reading schedule, I'll just dive in and read one of these and see how they are. But I know there's some Lovecrafty stuff in here, some homages, some pseudo sequels, and it should be a good time. I think there's almost like something like 13 stories in this volume. It's a pretty long, yeah, I think it's about 13. And this was published in 2003 by Marietta Publishing, fairly small publishers. I've certainly never heard of them, and it is in a trade paperback format. Not a very beautiful looking book, but certainly all the material is there. And I was able to order this one online. I think I got it through Amazon, although I think it was another seller got it to me as well. So The Occult Detectives of C.J. Henderson. is on deck, so to speak. All right, so I had mentioned a couple of weeks ago that I was in Madison, Wisconsin, attending a gaming convention called Gamehole Con. Not really going to go into any more details about that one. However, there is a publisher, a tabletop role-playing game publisher known as Goodman Games, and Goodman publishes a game called Dungeon Crawl Classics. That's what they're most famous for. Dungeon Crawl Classics is, aesthetically at least, an homage to old school Dungeons and Dragons. And one of the things that Goodman does is they have their own version of Appendix N. And if you've never heard of Appendix N, it's a reference to a list of recommended books and inspirational books and stories that Gary Gygax, the creator of Dungeons and Dragons, referred to and also subsequently recommended. And it appeared in the original Advanced Dungeons & Dragons Dungeon Master's Guide. So Dungeon Crawl Classics is a newer role-playing game, but again, it tries to embrace the feel and aesthetics of the original 1970s era role-playing experience. Going back to the Appendix N thing, they have their own Appendix N. It's sort of an elaborated version of Gygax's. And because of that, they owe a lot as well to vintage science fiction and fantasy. And at most conventions where you will find a Goodman Games booth in the dealer's hall or exhibit hall or whatever you call it, they will have at least one rack of vintage paperbacks. Pretty exciting. So, of course, I picked up a handful. I only picked up 3. What? Yeah, I only picked up 3, I think. But there's a fourth here because there's a funny story about it. So when I was looking through the racks, the first thing I spotted was this one, Michael Moorcock's The Blood Red Game. And this is Renark. He was a wanderer in the galaxy for 2 years, but he was not lonely, for the galaxy was his omnipresent friend and he was aware of its movements. He wandered purposely through the teeming galaxy for 2 swift years and then, when ready, journeyed out beyond the rim. Beyond our galaxy, he found himself in the arena of the Blood Red Game. So this is a science fiction story, science fiction novel by Moorcock featuring Renark. Yeah, looking forward to reading this because I have not read this one. It may have been published under another title. I just haven't had a chance to research what that was. There is a blurb on the back by none other than Harlan Ellison. Michael Moorcock is the author of over 70 at the time, over 25. Boy, this shows you how old this book is. Highly successful science fiction novels and the winner of the Nebula Award. Quote, to those who delight in not knowing what lies around the next corner, I commend Michael Moorcock, Harlan Ellison. So that was a fun find. And all of these were, I think, $5 from their rack. I also grabbed, actually, I'll jump to this one because this is the funny story. So they had a copy of Warlord of the Air, which I didn't know if I had, and I thought, well, if I do have it, I probably have a radically different cover. So I went ahead and grabbed this edition that they had on the rack, and this one is in absolutely phenomenal condition. It's in great shape. So I did grab this copy of Warlord of the Air, again, $5, and then I got home and discovered that I had this copy of Warlord of the Air, and I will show you. The funny thing is that not radically different. Boy, really blown out, but not radically different covers. Almost the same cover, slightly different titling, and they pushed in on the image in one of them. One was published, I believe, in 71, and one was published in 73. But they are both from Ace, both 75-cent cover price. But that's funny. So yeah, now I now have 2 copies of that, and they're both in great condition, so I'll get rid of one of them anyway. So that was fun. And then the third book I picked up from their Appendix N rack was this collection, Frontiers in Space, edited by Everett F. Bleiler and T.E. Dickey. This is Frontiers in Space, and this has a story by Ray Bradbury, Alfred Bester, A.E. Van Vogt, John Wyndham, Fritz Leiber. Who else is in here? John Jakes, Damon Knight, a whole slew of great authors. The condition was a little rough once I opened it up because they were all bagged. But once I opened it up, I realized it was going to need some gluing. So I have since fixed it and it's in good shape now. All right, so those were the ones I got from Gamehole Con in Madison, Wisconsin, at the Goodman Games booth. And happy to have those in my collection, including a double Moorcock for Y. Anyway, okay, jumping ahead. So one of my other favorite bookshops that I've talked about is The Last Bookstore in Studio City, California. And a couple of weeks back, I swung past. I was running some errands, and they always have carts out front, and I've gone through these ones before, but they do restock them on occasion, so I do try to at least quickly scan them. There's usually 1 or 2 carts that are going to be marked at $1 each, and then there's another cart that's always 4 for $1. And you can go back and watch one of my other videos to learn how I kind of screwed that one up. I picked up... Yeah, never mind that. That's neither here nor there. That's an old story. But there was some fun stuff on the cart. Actually, only one thing I grabbed off the cart, and then I found some stuff inside the store that I picked up. Nothing here more than $3. But the first one I found for $1 was Hugh Cook's Wizard War Chronicles 3: The Hero's Return. And I do not have any of the other Wizard War Chronicles, so looks like I'm going to have to seek those out at some point. But it was in such nice shape, and it was just $1. You can even see the little, hopefully you can see that. There it is, the $1 price tag on there. And it looks like they brought it in August 25th. So it's only been sitting on that cart for a couple of months, I guess. And it was in great shape, and I thought, well, let's go ahead and just pick it up for $1. And I'm not going to read it until I get the other ones. That's book 3. Inside the store, I was poking around the shelves, and I found some fun stuff. This was $3. It's a solid copy. It's got some... It's not in the greatest of shape, but this is the... which publisher did this one? Hang on. Why am I not seeing it? This is Berkeley Medallion. And this is To Your Scattered Bodies Go. So the first of the Riverworld books by Philip Jose Farmer. And as I said, this was $3. I didn't have this particular edition. And so I thought, well, let me just go ahead and grab it. It's got a pretty psychedelic cover on there. That's pretty awesome. On the back, you know, furthering the Riverworld motif. But yeah, you can see $3. But I grabbed it all the same. This one, the cover is insane, and I had to get it. It's in brand new condition. This one was only $2. This is by Lawrence Watt Evans, and it's the Cyborg and the Sorcerers. But come on, look at that cover. There's wizards, flying wizards in the sky. It's so rad. It's like... the Cyborg and the Sorcerers. The Cyborg just wanted to live. The robot wanted to die. The apprentice just wanted a sorcerer. Let's mix up some genres, shall we? I've never read it. Again, it's in fantastic condition. It looks like a brand new book. Surely it's from the 80s. Let me take a peek here. 82. But wait, there is a reprint date there. Did that say 87? Yeah, 6 printing, 1987, and a David Mattingly cover, a awesome David Mattingly cover. Happy to have that, and that one was only $2. And then I spotted this one. This was another $3 pickup, and there was a short-lived series of books based on a computer game published by SSI, if you're old enough to remember that. It was a computer game called Thunderscape, set in the world of Aiden. And this volume is Darkfall. And the main reason I picked this one up is that Shane Hensley is not only the creator of the Deadlands and Savage Worlds role-playing games, of which I am a huge fan and professional writer, he's also a good friend of mine. So I was really happy to see that in superb condition, unread, and I grabbed it. And funny thing is, I don't have the receipt in front of me right now, but I emailed a picture of it and I said, "Hey Shane, look, I found a copy of this on the shelf." And he said he had a great time writing it and he was really excited for me to find it. I'm sure I'll get him to sign it at some point. But then I noticed that on the receipt, the employee who rang me up when I bought it was named Shane. And so I shared that with him too. And he was like, okay, no, that's weird. But yeah, so World of Aiden, Thunderscape, this is Darkfall. I think there's at least 2 or 3 others in this series. I have no idea if they're any good, but it was mainly just to support a friend of mine, even though he doesn't get a dime because it's a used book. Okay. This past weekend, my wife and I were up in along the Central Coast in California, near Pismo Beach, and we made a little slight side trip to Grover Beach, which is pretty much immediately adjacent to Pismo Beach, to visit. I've got a card here, and not a card, but a sticker and a bookmark. Nan's Books and Crystals. So this is one of their bookmarks. There's their address if you want to pause that and write that down if you're ever in the Grover Beach area. Celebrating stories and friends for 37 years. You'll see there's cats on there. They have cats. They had 3 cats. It was very fun to see. I also grabbed a little sticker from them too. Nan's Books and Crystals. Super nice couple that runs the store. Their grandmother opened the store originally and then they bought it from her, but she still works there. She was there sorting books when we were in the store and having a real nice time. The only thing I will say is that at some point in the past, their science fiction section, not in its current configuration, but wherever it was facing windows. And so almost all the spines were faded and blued out. Almost all. I still found a few books, 3 books, but even those have some pretty faded spines. But the books themselves are in pretty nice shape, and the prices were right, so I went ahead and grabbed them. So I did get this one, Jandrax, which I know nothing about. It's by Sid Logsdon. Come on, you can focus on that. And we see this guy killing big pink rocks, or I don't know, giant flamingos. And I couldn't pass it up. I was like, Jandrax, Sid Logsdon, a name I know nothing about. A very, very slim volume for a Del Rey. Yeah, I think it's only like 150 some pages, 154, maybe 153 pages. Sorry, 153 pages. Grabbed Jandrax for the collection. Who knows when I'll get to it, but it looked fun and I thought I'd grab it. This one may have opened up a black hole for me. So I know these exist, but Tor, of course, started doing doubles many years ago. I want to say this would have been in the mid to late 80s, 89 for this particular volume. So this is a Tor double number 6, and it has Enemy Mine on one side. And I'm a big fan of Enemy Mine. I know some people are critical of it, but I originally read the story when I was a kid, when the short story appeared in an Isaac Asimov magazine. And I read it and I loved it. And then he later expanded it into a full novel. This says it's the original story. So this is probably the one that was in Asimov, because being one of these slender Tor doubles, they can't squeeze too much in there. I mean, it looks like, yeah, it's only less than 90 pages. I love the absolutely ridiculous ripoff of the Metaluna mutant on the cover there. But what are you going to do? And so I grabbed this, really nice condition. On the flip side, it has John Kessel's Another Orphan. I was reading about it, and it sounds like a pretty interesting story where some guy wakes up aboard. What's the name of the ship? Why am I spacing on it? The ship from Moby Dick. So it's a fantasy. We'll see. But it is. I mean, of course, it's categorized as science fiction, but I'm sure it's nothing of the sort. But I grabbed that good, nice condition copy. And of course, the black hole issue is, do I start just collecting Tor doubles for, shits and giggles, as they say. I believe they did like 36 of them. And I'm sure they're of varying quality, but when I was looking through the list, there are some pretty good authors amongst them. So I don't know. It might be one of those things I'll keep an eye out for. I've always passed them by whenever I've seen Tor doubles on the shelf, but it might be something I'll start picking up. Tell me if I shouldn't. Okay. And lastly, from Nan's, I did find a really nice condition copy of The Moon Pool. I have some other merit. I don't have this edition of it. It's very solid spine. It's in good shape. This one was $250. And yeah, it's in great shape. Like I say, the spine's a little wiped out from being exposed to the sun, but it's still a good reading copy. I'm happy to have that. And the last book I wanted to show you, and this is kind of a fun little side story. So where do I begin? So this has been on my Amazon list for at least 12, 15 years, something ridiculous like that. And the main reason was that my grandfather, who's long dead now, he was the crew chief for a B-17 based in Thurley, England, where there was an Air Force base during World War II. And he was the crew chief for a plane called Paper Doll. And many, many years ago, I was poking around online and I saw a reference to this particular book. And I threw it on my wish list and I just never ordered it. I don't know why. It just languished in there. And a couple of days ago, I was going through that wish list and I was sort of paring it down and finding that there was stuff on there that I either already had acquired a version of, or some stuff I just didn't need anymore. So I was getting rid of some things. And the book popped up again, and it said that there was only, I think, one copy left, and it had been marked down in $9.99. So I went ahead and ordered it. Now, I know nothing about this book, short of the title and what it's about. And I don't know the author's work either. But this is a first edition, Jim Shepard's Paper Doll. And you can see it is about a B-17 during World War II. I don't know if it's about my grandfather's plane or if it's supposed to be another paper doll. It is a novel, so it is a fictionalized account. So I don't know if he based it on any real accounts or if it's a completely made up story, but we shall see. I'm happy to finally have this, especially knowing that it was kind of drifting out of existence, so to speak, from the distributor. And as I said, I only paid $9.99. It is a first edition. Original cover price was $15.95, so it shows you it's been around for a little while. I'm trying to think of 86 was the original publication date. And this is, it does flat out say first edition. It's a NOF, so it's, it's Random House. Anyway, excited to have a copy of Paper Doll by Jim Shepard about a World War II group of World War II pilots and their crew aboard a B-17 with the same name as the plane my grandfather was on. So that is all the books that have recently crept into my life. Happy to show them off to you and give you some ideas of what I may or may not be reading in the coming weeks. And as I said, I am hoping to at least start reading Surrogate Child shortly, and we'll see where that goes. November is looking a little vague for me. I know there's a few cool events like the Dr. November. I don't think I'm going to do that. Boy, what were some of the other ones? There's a few other ones kicking around out there that they did not. Oh, the Dino one, Dinovember. I don't really have any dinosaur books, and I'm not going to go buy more books just to read Dinovember. So I'm going to pause, I think, on reading events for November and just kind of play around in my recent acquisitions and pick up some fun stuff to get through. Maybe I'll do some random book selections a la the stuff that Brian with Bad Taste Books does, although I will not be involving a skateboard because I would break my hip. So plenty of stuff to choose from. I have all of my books in a spreadsheet, so very easy to randomize and select from a list. So we'll see how that goes. So yeah, we'll dip into some new stuff in November. New quote unquote. And yeah, hop around. I've got a lot of Westerns I'd love to reread. I've got some mysteries that I'd like to read. Obviously a huge selection of science fiction and fantasy that's just sitting there taunting me from the shelf to my left. And we'll see what comes up. So until then, until I next chime in with maybe some more plans for November, I've got one more poem dropping this Friday. It is The Ghoul. And I hope you enjoy this one, because this is probably my favorite of the 5 that I produced for the month. And so check that out. That drops Friday morning. Well, Friday at noon Eastern, Friday at 9 West Coast time. And that's it. So follow, like, subscribe, share, spread the word. And I will see you on the flip side when I drop some more information about November plans. So fingers crossed, it's going to be something cool. I hope so.